Hey guys, welcome back to the Turnbuckle Taverns YouTube page. Today we're coming at you with a video and we're talking about how Vince McMahon has killed another tag team. But before we get into that, make sure you guys go click the link in the description below. Follow us to our, it takes you to all of our social media, takes you to our pro wrestling, takes you to our podcast page where you can listen, rate, review, and subscribe that also. Click the bell so you can get notifications when we come at you with other videos. But let's get right in.
And subscribe to the YouTube channel.
Yep. Yeah. So, so let's get in. I mean, Vince has killed another tag team, it appears.
Yeah, he just released AOP, Authors of Pain. They're gone. They're donezo.
Yeah. I mean, and for a tag team they had a lot of steam behind them when they were in NXT. I mean, I honestly think Vince just hates tag team wrestling.
Well, they definitely haven't been featuring tag team wrestling. Like, they've never really put an emphasis on it. I mean, honestly, he hasn't really had an emphasis on it since maybe Attitude Era with like the Hardy Boys and Edge and Christian. And I think that even happened because those guys forced his hand. They were putting on such good matches. He had to focus.
Yeah, they had to. I mean, with Akam and Razor, when they came in and they had Paul Ellering with them.
Yeah, in NXT.
I thought it was going to be, it was for them. They won the championships there, and I mean, they were a huge tag team. But again, when anybody gets brought up to the main roster, honestly, it just seems like they come up there to die.
Oh, yeah. In NXT, I mean, they had classic matches with DIY, Gargano and Ciampa. They had really good matches with the Revival at the time. With Paul Ellerling, it had that old school vibe. Paul Ellering managed the Road Warriors. So there was that old school heads kind of connected because of that. Oh shit, here's Paul Ellering.
Right.
And then they got moved up to the main roster, Raw, and they came in, they kind of floundered a little bit. I believe they did win the Raw Tag Team Championship.
Yeah, they were Raw Tag Team champs, but just like in true WWE fashion, when a tag team, I mean, the only thing that they do with tag teams is it seems like they use them to protect their singles stars. So that's what they ended up doing with them. I mean, they were Seth Rollins' protector, basically.
Yeah, and even before that, they made the major mistake of getting rid of Paul.
Yeah.
And then Drake Maverick was managing them. And, Drake's a good performer, but it kind of took a little bit of that shine of what a lot of people attached to those guys. And they were big heaters. They were big Hoss tag teams. They were a big Hoss tag team. And like you said, they eventually became the heaters for Seth Rollins when he started moving into that Monday Night Messiah gimmick.
Right.
But they never really did anything, and they never really pushed them the way that they could have been pushed, really giving them some long base storylines and a good long feud with another tag team. The one thing you can say, though, is you can't put it all on Vince. You can't put it all on WWE because they were kind of snake bitten with injuries.
Yeah.
They kept getting injured, and I think they had they were there from 2018 to 2019 on Raw, and then they kind of disappeared and went on a hiatus. And when they returned, that's when they were doing those vignettes where they were wearing the suits and they were speaking in their native tongue.
Yep.
They were subtitled. I loved those vignettes. It made them seem scary and like a dominant.
I thought there was something in store for him, honestly.
Yeah, and then they attached to Seth Rollins and this new gimmick of his, and it was working fine. And I think the first kind of red flag for me was when they put the straps on Buddy Murphy and Seth Rollins instead of putting it on Akam and Razor.
Yeah.
You've got a tag team in your faction, and instead of doing that, you put the tag team titles on your two singles guys.
Yeah, and that's, I know you say you can't really put it on Vince because of the injury. Yeah, they had injuries, but that was ultimately Vince's decision to not give them any push.
Oh, right. Exactly. And it came out recently that Razor he had a bicep tear,
mm-hmm.
and that's what had kind of put them on the shelf now.
Yeah.
But he had been cleared to return to wrestling. So they had been cleared when they got released. Now, I guess the second half of this video, obviously every decision made in that company, you can place blame wherever you want. But at the end of the day, the person who makes the decision to shit can someone is Vince.
Right.
So Vince is responsible for that. But the second part of this video, I guess, would be now that they're gone from WWE, where would you like to see these guys end
NWA.
Up? NWA?
Yep. I think they just fit an NWA kind of role. I think AEW they don't need another tag team right now.
I agree.
AEW doesn't need a new tag team. I think that they have, I think that seeing them, if NWA is back in their studio, to see these two, because they're huge.
Yeah,
these guys are huge.
Guys.
To see them come, and that studio makes your size pop even more.
Yeah.
So I think they would look larger than life coming out in the NWA studio.
Yeah, they would be fun to watch them feud with Eli Drake and James Storm.
Yeah.
It would be fun to see them in a big Hoss match against the Dawson brothers, the Dawsons. That is a good landing spot. The first place that popped into my mind was Impact.
Yeah.
Impact has a lot of great tag teams,
mm-hmm.
but they're not completely full of tag teams like AEW. You're right. I mean, their division is it's so stacked, and they don't need to poach every WWE talent. I mean, they don't need that. I think Impact would be interesting because you have the Good Brothers, you have Motor City Machine Guns,
yeah,
North, you have the Rascals. There's tag teams there, but Ace Austin and Madman Fulton, they've kind of been in that tag team scene, but there's not a tag team in Impact that is like that big, scary Hoss tag team. And I feel like it would be fun to watch a Motor City Machine Gun match against these two just behemoths.
Yeah. I think either one of those places, if they go, I mean, it's going to be, I think they're going to be able to, I mean, no pun intended, they're going to be able to make an impact in either one of those companies.
Yeah, I would like NWA or Impact would be a fun landing place for those guys. It would just bolster both of those companies a little more.
Yeah.
And yeah, I like that idea.
So if you guys have any ideas of where you think they should go, or how would you guys book them in any type of, future storylines, let us know in the comments. Yeah, continue the discussion in there, and we'll be back with you with more videos here soon.